Hi, my name is Sachin and this is Student of Malayalam Cinema. Imagine a world where monkeys and humans live together, or a hill ruled over by a dog trainer and his army of dogs. If you already know the movies I'm talking about, then you are probably a fan of the director-writer duo Dinjit Ayathan and Bahul Ramesh. As an aspiring writer myself, I'm more inclined to understand Bahul Ramesh's screenplays. Bahul's invitation lies in the story world he creates, one that feels almost magical, like a fairy tale, but is grounded in human behavior and built around animals. As someone who grew up watching films with animals at its heart, like the early Jungle Book animated series, Jurassic Park series, Scooby-Doo, and Gejagesari Yogam, I found myself instantly drawn to Kishkinda Kaandam and Echo. At first, it's a world of monkeys and dogs that pull us in. Only later do we realize that the real story lies elsewhere. But is it just the story world that makes these films thrilling? The answer is no. Animals are only the entry point, the lure into something deeper about human nature. Bahul Ramesh's screenplay used fundamental storytelling techniques in a very controlled way, keeping us engaged and constantly curious till the very end. Today, we are looking at Kishkinda Kaandam and Echo to understand how Bahul Ramesh builds engagement and sustains it. As we all know, conflict creates tension and thrill in a story. But creating conflict is not enough. The real challenge is to sustain the tension throughout a film. For that, the screenplay needs to be built on conflicts that keep evolving through progressive complications. But what does that mean? As Robert McKee says, to complicate progressively means to generate more and more conflict as the characters face greater and greater forces of antagonism, creating a succession of events that pass points of no return. Let's take a look at the plot of Kishkinda Kaandam, for example. The base plot of Kishkinda Kaandam is built around the character Buckley, and his conflict begins right in the opening scene. His gun is missing. Here, the stakes are simple and manageable. The stake is the possibility of an FIR against him. Half an hour into the film, we get the second complication: a forest firing in the Naxal area that matches Buckley's missing gun. Now the issue is no longer personal and simple. It becomes political and dangerous.
അതൊരു റിവോൾവറോ പിസ്റ്റളോ ആവാം, എന്തായാലും ചെറിയ തോക്കാണ്.
The stakes rise to another level here.
കല്ലേപ്പത്തെ വെടിവെപ്പ് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ പിന്നെ സ്റ്റേഷനിലും അങ്ങനെ ഒരു ടോക്കുണ്ട്. അല്ല, മൂപ്പരൊന്നിനും പോവില്ല എന്നറിയാം. എന്നാലും കുറച്ച് നാളത്തേക്ക് ആ കമ്പനി ഒന്ന് വിട്ടുപിടിക്കാൻ പറ.
Around the 1 hour mark, Bahul adds another layer. The police recover a monkey skeleton with a bullet mark from Buckley's backyard. The story connects three threads here: Buckley, his missing gun, and the missing child.
പോലീസ് കൂടി ഇടപെടും. ആംസ് ആക്ടിന്റെ വകുപ്പിൽ വരുന്നതായോണ്ട്.
ആംസ് ആക്ട്?
അച്ഛൻ്റെ ആ തോക്ക് മിസ്സിംഗ് കേസിന്റെ സ്ഥിതി ഇപ്പം എന്താ?
The stakes rise here by adding a personal conflict to a tighter legal complication. Then comes a photograph of a monkey holding a pistol. Buckley confirms that it matches his missing gun, fully pulling himself into the investigation. At this point, he's on the verge of an arrest. This, combined with Aparna's discovery of the gun from Buckley's room, pushes the story and the stakes to its peak. This is Buckley's point of no return. From here, Ajay's revelation doesn't just answer questions. It redefines everything we have seen so far. A similar pattern can be seen in Echo as well. First, Mohan arrives in search of Kuryachan. Then comes a naval officer, someone with authority and intent. Then an ex-policeman driven by revenge. then a couple of men in disguise, and finally we realize that even Piyush is after Kuryachan. Each of these new arrivals adds pressure and increases the danger around Mlati Chedati. The world keeps closing in on her. With every character, the stakes are raised further, and when the tension peaks, Bahul delivers the release, revealing what really happened to Kuryachan. In both films, this pattern of introducing complications at regular intervals keeps the narrative alive and unpredictable. Progressive complication as a technique is not just present in the screenplays, but they are carefully timed and controlled by the writer. While progressive complications make the plot engaging, that alone is not enough. What strengthens the stories further are Bahul's characters, each one of them almost reflecting the nature of the story world itself. Appuvilla is rigid, controlled, yet internally broken by memory loss. Kuryachan is a man who commands absolute control over dogs. Mlati Chedati is someone who has lived a life of quiet suffering and containment like the dogs. Chachu reflects the unpredictability and innocence of a monkey. Piyush carries the loyalty and danger of a trained dog. These are not just characters, they're extensions of the world they exist in. And it is in the way Bahul reveals these characters that he uses his second major storytelling technique, which is withholding information. As John Truby explains in Anatomy of a Story, withholding or hiding information is crucial to the storyteller's make-believe. It forces the audience to figure out who the character is and what he is doing, and so draws the audience into the story. Bahul never tells us directly who a character is. Instead, he allows us to observe, question, and slowly understand them. Appuvilla is not introduced as someone with a memory loss. We understand it gradually through behavior, through patterns, and reaction. Ajayan understands him through past conversations.
Ajayan, a picture and the idea. You know why he was fired from the army service?
Aparna understands him through observation, and we, as the audience, take time to fully grasp him. Piyush in Echo is first presented as a simple, harmless servant. Then slowly, that image cracks, and we realize there is something much darker beneath him. Characters like Mlati and Ajayan are only fully understood at the point of revelation. Until then, they remain partially hidden even from us. In this way, Bahul treats characters themselves as pieces of information. Instead of revealing everything at once, he breaks them into fragments and distributes those fragments across the narrative. We keep receiving these pieces through other characters and their interactions until the full picture emerges. Structurally, the screenplay works on two parallel movements. One is Appuvilla's plot, which moves forward through progressive complications. Each event raises the stakes and pushing the narrative closer to collapse. But the space between these events are not empty. They are carefully used to reveal character. Ajayan, Appuvilla, Chachu, Sumadathan and Praveena piece by piece in a controlled and delayed manner. So, while the plot accelerates, our understanding of the characters lags behind. And the gap between what is happening and what we understand is used brilliantly in the screenplay to create tension. Bahul Ramesh screenplays are not just well written, they are smartly constructed. Through progressive complications, he keeps increasing the stakes. Through withholding information, he controls what we know and when we know it. The result is a viewing experience where we are constantly engaged, constantly guessing, and constantly re-evaluating what we have already seen. And maybe that's what makes these films stay with us. Not just because of what they reveal, but because of how long they make us wait to understand it.
അതൊരു ഫ്രീഡം അല്ലേ, നമുക്ക് ഇഷ്ടമുള്ള റിയാലിറ്റിയിൽ മാത്രം ജീവിക്കാനുള്ള ഫ്രീഡം.